Good day. Welcome to this SA Marriage Week podcast. My name's Graeme Schnell. I'm the CEO of Focus on the Family Africa. Joining me is Lindo Hlongwa. He is our broadcasting project manager. Got your title right. And we're going to be talking about all things marriage. It's not about our titles today.
No, it's about our
spouses who aren't here to deny what we say. But here's the intro. In a world that constantly challenges connection, this episode is a celebration of love that lasts. We're talking about the kind of intentional love that grows stronger with time. Love that shows up, holds close, and keeps choosing joy, partnership, and purpose every single day. I really like that. The theme of this year's SA Marriage Week is Unbreakable. It's a really cool theme. And when we say marriage is unbreakable, we're not talking about it being flawless. It's not about perfection, but we are talking about a love that is deeply rooted. And it's about people who are choosing each other and they're nurturing that bond and growing together through every season of life. And so to just launch into it, how about you and your wife? How do you stay rooted through life's changes, and what does it mean to grow together as a couple for you guys?
I think, Graeme, firstly, let me just say, marriage is beautiful. Marriage is beautiful. Marriage shapes you, and marriage proves you. You know, if you really want to be an authentic Christian, get married.
Yeah.
For us, the biggest thing that have helped us to, to stay unbreakable. I don't know if it's the right term, unbreakable.
Yeah.
You can be breakable sometimes, come back. but I think what has been sort of like our help, or something that has helped us over the years, it's mostly to come back. The comeback after maybe some tense conversation or something.
Is that what you guys call it? Tense conversation.
I think that
you can be authentic.
That's a better way than fighting.
Okay. Yes. Coming back. Yeah.
I think coming back being a sort of like a foundation of our marriage, or I can call it a root that keeps us going. Because at the end, when you're having some quarreling, there are chance of looking at your spouse as a bad person, or someone who doesn't care, or there are a lot of things that can go through your mind. But when you give yourself a chance to come back after and have a chat about the same issue or same conversation, and then realize that actually it's not about us, it's about that thing. What about dealing with the devil and not us, and then find solutions? So I think that has sort of helped us, and also to made us to realize that when we having those moments,
it's tense conversation.
Tense conversation. It's not really an issue of me against you, because that can cause a serious problem afterward. You can walk away thinking that this might have a problem, but once you realize that actually when we're having these issues or tense conversations, it's actually not about my spouse. It's actually about the problem itself, So I think that's what has really been helpful.
And you've been able to talk about those things outside of the tense conversation, so that you're able to come back. Because in the midst of the tense conversation, it's not always so easy.
No.
But when you step away for a moment, you're able to recognize what's going on, deal with that conflict in a way that brings restoration and redemption. Because outside of that, you've agreed on some things, I guess, in terms of that. Your commitment, your love, and recognizing that even in the midst of that tense conversation, that doesn't change who you are. It doesn't change what you believe about your spouse, what you believe about your marriage. I think that's really good. I think for me, something that's really helped stay rooted is that word intentionality.
Oh yes,
And it's a hard one because it means that you don't get there's no cruise control in marriage. It's a bit like, when you're swimming in the sea as well, and there's a wash, you've got to be constantly looking back, check where those flags are, and paddling against the wash to stay. And that is the reality of marriage. Makes it sound like it's all hard work. It's not, but it does require a constant check-in and intentionality. I find even just, working and focus on the family has been so much of a blessing. Listening to the broadcast every day, and then suddenly getting that reminder, things that I know, like, oh, it's been a while since I did that, or I prioritized that. And so, but then having that intentionality to say, I need to come back to that principle or that practice that I know will strengthen my marriage. But it requires intentionality.
Graeme, I think I do want to add something on that. That word intentionality, it goes a long way in marriage.
Yeah.
Really, without that word, the marriage might not work.
Sure.
One of the reasons
nothing works. I mean, the truth is, everything in this broken world is moving from order to disorder. Your car, if you just leave it, will turn into a bucket of rust.
Yes.
You know,
you need to do something
if you don't
about
look
it.
after them, they fall. Yeah, but marriage, sorry.
No, yes. So, I think as I grow in marriage, I'm realizing that thinking or saying you love your spouse is not enough.
Yeah.
You may say it only to find that because you're not putting any action around that.
Yeah.
It doesn't bring out the meaning that you're thinking it brings out.
Have you learned this from personal experience?
I think I've learned that. I think I've learned that. I'll give an example. My wife is very precise when it comes to clean and like tidy and stuff like that. So there'll be moments where I'll drink coffee, or let me use tea. I'm not a coffee person. I'll be drinking tea, and then after finishing that tea, maybe I'm watching something, I'm on a laptop doing something, and then I'll stand up, walk away, go to maybe to the loo or something. When I come back, and then maybe I wrap up whatever I was doing, and then I go away.
Yeah.
Then the cup is left there where it was. So
that's like all my children as well.
So that it will create problems, because when she comes, she'll be like, and then what happened? And obviously I forgot about that cup. It's not like I left it on purpose. I forgot it.
Yeah.
But now, as I start now trying to practice intentionality even around making sure I remind myself, I took a cup, I made a tea, I need to put it back. That meant a lot, because I may say I love my spouse, but because of the cup, I keep on leaving everywhere.
Yeah.
That creates problems.
Yeah. That's a critical. One of the best-selling marriage books of all time is Gary Chapman's 5 Love Languages. And he speaks to that issue of you've got to love your spouse in the way that they receive love and what fills their love tank. So for you, maybe the cup means nothing to your wife, because you touch your love and you'd be fine. As long as she tells you how wonderful you are, that's what you need. But she needs that act of service of taking that cup through and washing it, putting it away.
Yeah.
And so that's another whole podcast on its own, but that's really good. Tell me about how you celebrate milestones. How long have you guys been married?
Well, it's been 5 years.
5 years.
Yeah,
okay.
It's been 5 years.
So you haven't even had any milestones.
I'm still trying to have it.
5 years. That's a good one. Even 1 year is a milestone.
Let's do 10 years.
So tell us just how you've celebrated milestones, or even just supported each other's dreams.
maybe let me start with milestone in terms of maybe reaching some time in marriage. Let's say celebrating years, like been married for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years. Obviously, normally when people are in that stage, they'll be posting on social media and saying we blah blah blah, we're celebrating very happy anniversary to us. But I would say that we sort of like found that not meaningful to us. What is more meaningful is when we sit at home and enjoy that we celebrate. You may not know, we may tell someone else, we may not, but we enjoy more when we look at each other and say, "Oh wow, we did it! You know, we made it to 3 years, 5 years, 5 years now. It was 5 years, you know." So that is sort of like have been an anchor in our marriage to say, let's keep on building. That's all hands. It as much as it's good when people celebrate you, tell everybody, "Hey, I'm celebrating 5 years," you know, but sometimes we find that people can do that only to find that they themselves are not happy about something. You know, so we try by all means to say, this is ours, let's have some small bride, something like that. Let's enjoy this moment.
It's more about the two of you.
Yes, it's more about the two of us. Yeah.
I think it's not a bad thing to share.
No, it's not.
Because you're lifting up marriage. I'm not saying that's wrong, but certainly the priority of the milestone is that it's between the two of you that you celebrate. What about dreams and just how you've supported each other in your dreams? Maybe you can choose one. You know, maybe you've supported Nana, she supported you in that 5 years or before, because you've known each other much longer than
I think in terms of dreams, supporting each other in terms of dreams, it's more unified. We focus more on yes, you may have a dream, I may have a dream, she may have a dream, but it's sort of like how it will help us in our marriage. You know, that's how we look at it. Let's say maybe it's a dream about which got some financial implications in it or something like that. We look at how it will add, you know, in our marriage, other than and let me just say, we don't have those. It's not a bad thing to have those wild dreams that I still need to go and work in America, you know, for 5 years. I'll live here, I'll come back, you know. It's not a bad thing, but we don't have dreams that will sort of like split us. We are very careful of that, of having dreams that will split us. Even when we speak about whether opportunities or anything like that, we try by all means to look into us first. How it will where we'll be around that dream. You know, if you will say, Nana would love to go and stay in Cape Town and work there, let's talk about will it work for our marriage, you know, before we talk about how you will enjoy in Cape Town, you know. So in most cases, it's been more about that, you know, to find something that will be about us other than about me, you know. So,
I think that's very wise. I don't think it means we can't have individual dreams.
Yes.
But I think it's, you know, something powerful about marriage is it's two people coming together and being able to be used in a way by God that you couldn't be used as individuals. And so having that mindset, which I think is what you have, is really powerful. One of the things that I can think of in my own marriage where Alison has just supported me so much. I've been at Focus for 22 years now. We've been married for 20 years, so that's our milestone. We had 20 years, so
that's
I'm up on you quite significantly there. Exactly, 2 decades. But quite early on, I think we probably had maybe just one child at the time. So early on in our marriage, maybe 5 years into marriage, Alison said to me, I think now with a child or two, I can't remember exactly when it was, expenses are beginning to increase.
Yes.
And she was like, well, you know, maybe it's time for you to go and get like a real job, not one of this non-profit salary jobs, you know?
Yes.
And I just remember saying to her, and this was the truth, that I really felt God had positioned me and focused on the family. And it wasn't, I don't know for how long. It wasn't that he said, this is that you're there for life. It feels like it now. But I said that to Alison. I said, I really believe God has positioned me here. And I believe that I'll know that he'll move me when it's time for me to go somewhere else. And she, to her credit, completely and utterly accepted that. Not just accepted it, really embraced it, and has been such a support to me in this dream, essentially, of being a part of something that is redeeming families across the continent of Africa for Christ. And so that's something that I can say for her, how she supported that dream, despite maybe having some other dreams of nicer clothes and cars and things like that.
Those stuff like that. I think also I remember before we got married, and just after we got married, there was a bit of an issue at home when it comes to ministry. Obviously at church, I've always been this busy guy, preaching and stuff, and going out in families, comforting families who have lost their loved ones and stuff like that, So there was that thinking of, hey, maybe I'll be a pastor or something like that. So, my wife that time wasn't into that idea. It's like, no, I don't want to be Mampuni, but as well. And I'm not gonna lie to you. At that time, that thing, even myself, was sort of like capturing me. It was in my heart, I was like, hey, I think that's a route sort of like God is taking with me in this journey of life. But now if my wife says this, it's to a point where it became sort of like my thing. When somebody mentions something like pastor, I'll be like, ish, but my wife doesn't like that. How that is gonna work out? But I'm not gonna lie to you, Graeme. Eventually, as she grows in the Lord, and she started embracing a lot of things around like being a Christian, like serious growth, like intense growth. Suddenly she's sort of like pushing the idea of sharing the gospel, witnessing about Jesus Christ and all those stuff. So for me, it's that transformation. It's been amazing, because as much as I'm not saying I'm working on being a pastor, but it's been sort of like something in the back of my mind. What if that happens? What will happen with me, my wife, my marriage? So now it's been amazing.
And that speaks to the journey of marriage. That it's not, so she's been on a growth path in that respect. It's not always perfect from the beginning. This idea of embracing the dreams, and so that's really good to hear from that perspective. We've learned, and we know that love isn't just a feeling. It's something that we speak about on Focus on the Family all the time. It's a choice. Every day we choose to show up for our spouse. So what are some of the everyday choices or habits that have helped you and Nana thrive in your marriage in every kind of season?
Obviously, as much as there could be a number of such experiences, but I just want to highlight this funny one about buying her flowers. When you have money, there's always a choice of what you need to do about it, and in most cases it'll be very serious choices versus choice. For example, I remember there was a time when I don't remember what was the occasion around her. I don't remember whether it was just after her birthday or something, but there was something. And I think I had about 200. That was sort of like, at that time, my last 200.
What number the month was this? Half away from payday.
I think it was in the middle of the month.
Oh boy.
So now I've got these choices. Either I keep this 200 for petrol, or I buy like things like bread, something that we need at that time, like bread, practical stuff, or or buy electricity, things like that, or buy her flowers. And flowers, they take the whole time to track.
And they went to their game tomorrow.
But now, understanding the value of love behind those flowers, the emotions, the response, from where all those stuff, I had to make a decision, and that decision had to be had to go with the intentionality that the one that we spoke about. I had to make a sort of a choice that will make my wife happy, like really, really happy. Though putting petrol and buying bread, it won't make her happy because it will come back to me. And anyway, but at that particular moment, I saw fitting and very important to choose that, to say, let me buy flour. As much as it doesn't feel like I'm not feeling it, it's not I don't feel like right now. It's a decision that's been taking, but let me act with intentionality and choose to buy a flower.
But I think it conveyed something powerful to her. That's what I would see in that. I mean, I feel your pain in making that decision, but what it conveyed to her was how important she is, and how important it is that you show her that you love her and how important she is. I think that's very powerful.
Yeah.
If I think about it from my perspective, just those choices to show up. Alison, when we had kids, we chose for her to not work full time. So she was a qualified teacher, but she always worked part time as a specialist drama teacher, so that she could be partly, as much as possible, could be with the kids. And then as the kids grew up, and we actually went into COVID, and she ended up volunteering at a school, and out of that came an opportunity for her to take a locum post. Which was to fill a position for somebody who was on maternity leave. It was going to be 6 months. It turned out to be a year, but it was a class teacher's position, and she'd never been a class teacher kind of full time. Had that position, and was quite keen to see, is this something she'd studied for teaching? She'd put a lot of her life into this idea of teaching, but never actually been that class teacher. And so we said, well, now's the right time. Kids are older, and you've got this opportunity. It's a great thing. But for all the teachers out there, that they'll know this, that first year of teaching as a class teacher it's all consuming, because you're still learning the curriculum, you're setting everything, you're building all of your material, and then just adjusting to all the marking and all the everything, extramurals and all of that. So she was completely run off her feet for that year, and it required me to step in, and to my shame, I had not really been very involved in cooking dinner up until that night. I know. You know that? I know. So, but this was an opportunity for me to make a choice, to prove myself, prove my culinary ability, but to really show up and say, well, you are this, we made this decision, and there were aspects of it she absolutely loved. Community, she was striving in one way, but also just had no time, and it was an opportunity for me to take on that thing. I couldn't just say, well, that's your job. Find a way. I could say, this is a different season, and you've changed roles, and I can change roles, and we can work on this together. And so I think that's part of how it's different seasons. It's how we adapt to the different seasons, but being intentional, showing that love in those seasons. Choosing is what we were speaking about. How do we make love a choice, not just a feeling? Unbreakable, coming back to the theme, doesn't mean untouched. As we see it in the beginning, it's not flawless, it's not perfect, but it does mean deeply rooted and ever growing. It's a kind of relationship that becomes a sanctuary a source of joy and a reflection of shared dreams. So how do you and Nana celebrate each other's growth? We talked a little bit about this, but how does your marriage become a source of strength and joy for you guys?
I think one it'll be support like for each other. In obviously in whatever that we find ourselves doing, and being able also to talk about things that we possibly need support for, and not to think you can do it on your own, but to be able to open up with her as my spouse, and also vice versa, and support one another in whatever that one tries to achieve or tries to do, So I think that has been also something that has worked for us or helped us, because there are some other things as well that you can look at them and think it's just light stuff. For example, when I'm maybe traveling, going away, or maybe because of work, something like that, Nana, she's really concerned about if I will be warm, if I've got everything that I need, all those stuff. It's something that you can look at it that that's more nothing, but that means a lot even to me, because she knows that sometimes I'll forget stuff, she knows I'll forget stuff, and then later she'll have to ask, and whatever, hey, I forgot that. And then so now she tries to hold me in whatever I do. I don't forget, even if I need to call someone, I needed to call someone, something important, and I'm at work, she'll be sending me messages that, have you called that so and so? I'm like, ish, okay, I'm planning to call at 12:30, and then right after 12, please call now. But that's support. That's, it means a lot to me, and it means a lot in our marriage as well, because that it tells me that we're working together. We are together. She doesn't want me to fail. She doesn't want me to miss out on things. She doesn't want me to miss out on something that I needed to do, but I completely forgot about it, So that's those things that played a huge part.
I think that's that's a beautiful thing. Your attitude towards that, because somebody could say, told you I was going to do it, stop hassling me, nagging, stop nagging, but you see it, she's seeing it as an area that she can support you. Yes. And you've seen that, you've identified that as well, and you appreciate that, and I think that's really cool. We talked a bit about growth, and you spoke about Nana's growth toward, you and her attitude towards your ministry endeavors, and we've talked about seasons. I just spoke about that change in season in our family. I think part of this idea of growth is recognizing that we do go through different seasons, and we do change. I remember hearing, I think on one of the Focus broadcasts, that he said something like, I've been married to more than a dozen women throughout my life. And you kind of, what? He said, no, it's the same one, but she's been different. She was different. Before we had kids to after we had kids, and when and life moments before she lost her father, and after that, and all these different seasons and episodes in life that do change us. And part of, I think, that support that we can give is staying curious and staying, not thinking, I've been with my wife for 20 years and I know everything about it.
I know it,
rather saying, I want to be curious about, even in the season that she's in right now, what can I learn about it? Because the truth is, one lifetime is not enough actually to learn everything there is to learn about this person that we've chosen to be our life partner. And I think finding you'll find what you look for. And so, coming back to your example, I think it's really cool that you've seen, none as reminding you, not as it's a nag, but rather seeing it for what it is, which is the support of you and wanting to be there for you and caring about you not being cold because you forgot your jacket or whatever it might be. So, really good.
Yeah.
So as we come to a close, to every couple out there, hopefully celebrating SA Marriage Week, we want to say that you've got to we trust that you will keep choosing each other, keep showing up with love, with laughter, with grace, keep building something beautiful. Marriage is beautiful, something that reflects the shared joy and commitment that hopefully you have. It isn't about perfection, as we said.
No.
We also recognize there are those that have come through brokenness. This idea of lifting up unbreakable is for the future, to say we want to have marriages that we can build into in this way that prevents any breaking. It's about presence. And when it's true, I love the intentionality we put in, the growth, we can build these unbreakable marriages. So we hope you've been encouraged.